digital currency is for me, it's 100% gonna be the only way eventually. Like, so
You see that happening in our lifetime, or
boy, good question. Very good question. Very good question. What am I now? 28. Yes. Back with the Fully Booked podcast. Myself, Mace.
myself, French.
Myself, Andrew.
It's been a little bit of a hiatus. I know you haven't seen us on your screens or on your listening devices. Life has been lifing. That's all I can say. We're still reviewing The Money Ladder. We'll be finishing it off over the next couple of sessions. But yeah, man, things been going on. I'm now a proud father of 2.
Come on.
I am Moon. I'm my second boy, you get me? The man them's had various things going on. I'm not going to reveal you lot's business, but if you want to reveal, spill what's been going on in you lot's lives, vacations and...
Yeah,
you get me?
I had a big one this year, so thank you for the big one, and had a great time. I won't indulge in details, but I had an amazing time.
Yeah. Myself too.
It's just life, boy. Life is lifing.
Yeah, we've all had bits and bobs going on, but as I said, we're back in your listening devices, back on your YouTube screens and all the rest of the devices that you're watching us on. So yeah, man, we're gonna get straight back into it. Still reviewing Franklin Asante's The Money Ladder, 3-step guide to make and grow your wealth. You get me?
All right, we'll jump straight back into it. So, first question is: are there any companies you would always invest in, and why?
The first thing that came to mind, I don't know about always investing, but at this moment in time, I think my interest in regards to investing will be in anything really AI. And I know it may sound maybe a little bit obvious in some respects, but over the past, even so 24 hours actually, because I've been having these conversations within certain groups as to, you know what, like maybe a couple of years ago, people would have said actually getting into AI now will give you a head start in regards to what's to come. And I think fast forward those 12 or 24 months, you're pretty much in an arena where AI quite clearly is going to lead the next generation. Do you know what I mean? And if you haven't done what might be your homework, or you haven't done maybe enough research in regards to how AI can assist you, you might be a little bit behind. So while I might not be able to name drop maybe 1 or 2 companies in which I would always invest in, I guess maybe AI stocks would be something in which I have an interest in. So I guess the obvious one would be Nvidia, but I know there are other ones in regards to AI as well.
Cool.
It's a good question, actually, French, and it's quite poignant given the fact that, so obviously since we last been on air, I think Trump's, what's the word where they use when someone steps in?
Inauguration?
Inauguration. Trump's been inaugurated and he's coming on his own shit. And obviously that's set the stock market tumbling and spiraling and coming back and going back and forth. No Aaliyah, you get me? But what was I say? I think I mentioned before, but I've never been hot on the money when it comes to like investing in stocks. But I recently bought some stock shares. Shares, stocks.
Same difference.
Same. All right. I bought some shares in Disney.
Okay.
Recently, actually. Not randomly. Funny enough, it was. I think I said to you that I went to a friend of ours, child's birthday party, and they actually said no gifts, but if you do want to provide any gifts, it will be monetary, and that's so that we can invest in Disney. So okay. So I done my little research and whatnot. I saw Disney was stocks or shares, whatever stocks and shares are down.
Yeah.
I said, okay. Yeah. So, and I then saw that what they kind of say they should be at, and they're below that. So why not? So I threw some money in there. So yeah, that's recently what I've invested in, actually, in Disney. This has been around for years. Hopefully not going anywhere. They're still making films that are relevant. I mean, everything's moving in terms of the film industry, as you know, like people are not being going to cinema on anymore. But I'm sure they'll find a way to diversify their portfolio as well. So yeah.
So in that, like, do you not think that speaking to P's point, that AI is going to take over the film studio?
Yeah, but then Disney are not they're films, but I feel like they've got other services or product stuff. So they got stores, do you know what I mean? So I feel like they've started that diversification process a while back anyway. But and on top of that, because they're so big, they will have to eventually embrace AI in some way, shape, or form. So how they do that, I don't know. But I just feel like Disney's been around for so long. I saw that obviously the shares have dropped since Trump's come into power. With loads of shares dropped. I just thought, okay, yeah, why not take a punt? Almost.
From what I understand, I forget the name of the producer. It could be I forgot his name. It's the I don't want to say the black guy, but anyway.
Perry.
Thank you. I think it's Tyler Perry anyway.
Yeah.
I think he was talking about how he was going to build a studio and it was supposed to be a lot bigger than it was. And I think due to AI, it's made smaller the operation of what he was looking to do originally. So I guess like in regards to the question, I think AI will be embraced or has been embraced already by a lot of those sort of type of studios. So I guess it would support it in some respect. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it must be. And even like you look at like because I didn't watch the Tyler Perry interview, but I watched I think a 50 Cent interview.
Yeah,
he mentions it.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, where he mentioned it. And even still, I think since then, 50's gone on to, I think he's got plans to build a studio in a certain part of America.
Yeah, Shreveport.
That's correct.
Right. So there must still be, and I'm sure he'll be embracing AI in that, but that's what I'm saying. There still must be money in owning studio space and all that, and films and all the rest of it, and whatever else, series, TV, whatever else 50's going to work on.
Have you invested in Nvidia yet?
No, it's funny actually. I don't know, how did I know about Nvidia? So it was a good few years ago. I was part of, oh my God, I forgot his name, Chris Johnson. I don't know if you know the name. On IG. So yeah, on IG anyway. So like I think I was involved in one of his groups, and I think somewhere in there someone had put Nvidia. This was long before it skyrocketed. So I ended up buying some options in it. I ended up making like 3-4 grand. Just like bam on 1 week, like boom, just all skyrocketed. You know what I mean? So that was my knowledge of Nvidia. That was the first time it kind of like skyrocketed. And probably from there, I kind of told myself I'll continue buying options and stuff like that, but I never really did, and I never really bought any stocks or shares. And in fact, I didn't expect it to continue in having that like ascendancy. Do you know what I mean? So, but no, I haven't bought any. But I've been thinking about buying some AI stock, but at the same time, even potentially buying some AI crypto and all that type of stuff as well. So these are things that have been like crossing my mind. I've had like 1 or 2 riders, I think I mentioned it on this series as well, who were telling me like if they were to buy more crypto, in fact they were, it'll be like an AI and stuff like that. You'll be able to buy it not next to nothing, but for cheap. Do you know what I mean? Depending on what type of AI crypto you buy, and you're more likely to get some good value. Do you know what I mean? Of course, some of them are quite risky, as Franklin says, you know what I mean?
Risky, boy.
Yeah, it's always risky, do you know what I mean? But like you may get some good return. So like at this moment in time, that's where my focus is in some respects.
All right, cool.
And yourself? I don't know if you're looking at anything different.
I think for me, because I use it and I'm pretty much, I'm not going to say I'm indoctrinated by it, but I can't see myself leaving because it's the ease of using this product is so easy. It's Apple.
Okay.
So I'm invested in Apple in stocks and shares, and I use my computer's Apple, my phone's Apple, iPad's Apple. I'm going to stop saying the name because they're not paid. Well, technically they are because I'm invested in it, but I don't think that they're going anywhere anytime soon, even though they haven't been as innovative as they have been in the past. I think they're one of those companies that will keep their foot in the game just because, for example, they came out with the AirPods. Since they've done that, everyone else has got AirPods. Then they done the smartwatch. Everyone else has got the smartwatch. So it's not as innovative as it once was, but they're still a leader in their field. And I think even if they're currently, everyone's stocks are going down, but I'm not in a rush to sell them anytime soon. So I'll be staying invested in them for sure.
So I was gonna say, you said something which made me think I was gonna add to that point. Obviously, I don't know what your knowledge is of like reading charts and stuff like that, but do you ever read charts? Sorry, do you ever make a decision to get into what might be a stock by reading a chart, or is it a case of you're going off I guess let's say your affinity to it, like very similar to what you were saying in regards to Apple?
I mean, I try and stick with stocks and shares, like things that I know. So I've got some, as you said, affinity to it. So whether it's like a Nike or some kind of different, I don't know, if they're automobile, so that BMW or Mercedes Benz, I have some sort of connection where I'm aware of what's going on
Yeah.
within that company or surrounding it. Again, going back to Apple, because I use its products, I'm always aware of the latest innovation or where they're heading. If I feel like it's on a downward spiral, like say for example Nike, unfortunately at this moment in time, they're not being inventive. They're pretty stale at the moment, and you're seeing a lot of their competition come up quite quickly. So whether it's New Balance, as we know, it's like running the show at the moment, or Asics, or just kind of other not sub-genre, but sub-labels that was once upon a time almost forgotten about. They're now on the come up because they're a bit more agile. They're a bit more with the culture, so to speak, whereas Nike's kind of lost their way just because of some of the things that they were doing. But in regards to reading the charts, I tried to have a look at past history, but as we know, when it comes to stocks and shares, looking at the history doesn't guarantee what the future's going to be like. So it's more reading some of the stocks and shares, like reading the charts, but also having some kind of knowledge of the company itself and who's in control of it. That's a big part. That's a big major part.
Cool.
All right, so we'll move on to cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency has led to the 21st equivalent of the 1848 gold rush. The story is almost identical to that of crypto, where the early adopters who took a leap of faith were rewarded handsomely as demand grew for digital currencies. Do you think crypto will eventually take over fiat money?
Do you know, I remember where I was when I had the first conversation about crypto. I was in a McDonald's. I was like meeting Lawrence, and when he first mentioned it to me, like it was like bingo, like as in like I just felt, I don't know, you know, when you feel like there's new innovation like on its way in some respects, and I thought, do you know what? Yeah, it's about time. And you know, I was asking myself the question actually as to whether it's been slow or whether it's gathered pace, and I think it's been almost like 10 years since like I had that conversation with Lawrence. I think it was like maybe 2015, 16 maybe, when like that first kind of conversation began. And when we will start going back and forth in regards to the group as to, oh my God, Ethereum, Litecoin, all that type of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I think there's been a lot of evolution, but I'm not too sure there's been like strong evidence. I think there's been a lot of evidence, but I don't think there's strong evidence at this moment in time that fiat will really disappear and cryptocurrency will take over. Because at this moment in time, depending on who you listen to, like cryptocurrency, yes, I think there might be some value in it, but some might have like polar opposite, like polarizing opinions, as in like, yes, I think it will take over fiat money, but also like if you listen to other people, and let's say namely, I think Gary Economics, I think his name is Gary Stevenson, he would say he feels cryptocurrency will, Bitcoin, sorry, will go to zero or may go to zero. So it's like, who knows? Do you know what I mean? But I know the dollar's like currently under threat. So who knows? And that's pretty much the world currency. So
Why does he say he thinks crypto or Bitcoin will go to zero?
I've not listened to his argument in full actually. So I
That
can't.
Gary guy he's quite passionate about kind of social.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the
Yeah. So yeah, I've not listened to his argument in full, so I'm not too
Yeah.
sure. But like, I guess my point is like you can loads of different economists, with different opinions, and
That's
I
all
guess
it is,
there's value in that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Um.
You know, if so, the actual term fiat money is it physical money that you can touch, or is that what it means?
Eventually.
Because I'm not necessarily thinking crypto will take over as such, but digital currency is for me is 100% gonna be the only way eventually.
Mm.
Like so.
You see that happening in our lifetime, or
Boy, good question. Very good question. Very good question. What am I now? What am I now? 28. um, that's a good question, man.
I think you.
Possibly. Because things move fast, bruv.
I think with where we are now, I think there's every chance that it could happen.
Yeah, because things move so fast.
what, even globally? Because if you think about where we are, we're at the forefront, so
Yeah.
to speak. But then we all travel, so we know what it's like in other countries, and
Yeah.
they're 10, 15,
They're
20 years
behind.
behind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's a great caveat. All right, in places like Ghana, for example, where I've been most recently, I think, I would say no. But I think things are fast, like evolving. Do you know what I mean? So there might be elements to it, or places where like they may only use digital currency, but obviously in places, let's say like in a village, that might, in fact, that won't be the case. Do you know what I mean? People may have smartphones, but they don't want to operate in that sort of currency. Do you know what I mean? Even actually using Ubers, and this is widely known, you can order an Uber, and if you tell them you ain't paying in cash, they ain't taking you.
that's it.
Yeah. So you better carry cash, otherwise you ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you better get that cash.
Order the Uber off your phone. It doesn't give you the option to pay.
Yeah, it does, but they'll probably call you and ask you what you're gonna do. Yeah. Yeah, probably ask you what you're gonna do. Do you know what I mean? So make sure you have that cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's well, yeah, it's well known, well documented. You know.
Sorry, we're going off topic. So does it give you the option on your phone to say pay the driver in cash?
I think it does. Like, I think both. But I mean, like, if I said I'm going to pay him via card, I'm sure he'll call and ask, am I going to pay by card? Or he will request, can I pay in cash?
Okay.
Yeah. So yes.
Sorry, over here you can it automatically takes the money out. Do you know what I'm saying? Once
No,
you return, so that's what I'm trying to say. Over there, it doesn't happen like that. Is what you're saying?
No, you can pay by card, as in like that option.
As in when you get out of the car and he finishes the ride, you've paid.
Yeah, so you can.
Yeah.
But there is an option to pay in cash. So, like, for example, I think there's an option to pay in cash here.
I didn't know.
But it's just not something that is practice. And actually, I don't think it's a good practice. Do you know what I mean? So like, but in Ghana, like, yes, you can pay in cash and you can pay by card. But if you do choose the option to pay in card, I'm quite sure, not on my last trip, but certainly my trip before, the driver will call you and ask you, can you pay in cash? Do you know what I mean? Like not my previous trip, but the one before. No doubt, yeah, let's say ignorance or naivety in some respect. And my choice was to pay by card. Actually, you end up having difficulties, you know what I mean, in terms of getting around. So you need cash. So that's like the first thing you do when you get to Ghana. You need cash. Yeah.
Okay.
Where do you not stand on cryptocurrency as it is, as we know it at the moment?
I'm behind. I'm not at the forefront of taking it forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm behind on the game. Like, to me, it's just all a gamble or risk. Lack of research and knowledge on my part. I'm a bit of a technophobe, so I'm never gonna embrace it like that unless I'm forced to. And there's something I've lived with, know the ease of using it, which is cash or even my card in what's perceived to be cash. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this crypto stuff and all this up fluctuation, it's just for me. It's like it's not natural, and it's a gamble for me putting money in there, and like it's more of a hope and a win rather than me analyzing what's going on.
Myself, so a thought come into my mind as to you were talking about AI and Disney not too long ago, and in relation to UX UI, there are articles or even conversations out there, and in fact courses actually, because I know a friend who did a course with the company in which I did my UX UI course recently, in terms of how AI can actually assist, empower UX UI, and there's no reason why it can't. And I guess the reason why I'm saying all that in regards to being at the forefront, because that's what my friend said, actually. He goes, I actually want to do this course, so I'm ahead of the curve with the company in which I'm working with. And I feel like with cryptocurrency in 2016, I think it was, because it wasn't long before I traveled again, my thoughts were, I actually want to be ahead of the curve and let me buy some crypto, etc., etc. And actually, I was trading crypto and made money before I left traveling to go to Central America at that time. And I feel, I can't speak for yourself, but I feel I missed, let's say missed out-ish. I made some money, but let's say I missed out-ish on what will be that opportunity. And I think with AI specific, so we're talking about currency. I think with AI specifically, all right, as to what we're talking about before, like I don't want to miss the opportunity, which is why I kind of have like a real interest in that. And I feel like with I kind of thought the question. Jesus Christ. I was in my own
Where
head.
did you stand on crypto?
No, sorry, no, I guess that like
Usual P form.
no, not usual. I guess what I'm saying is
You forgot.
no. He's trying to put me under pressure. No, I haven't forgotten. No, I guess what I'm saying is that like I just think it's a great opportunity, and I don't think when he does that, I know he's gone. Nah, No, I just think it's a great opportunity, mate. Great opportunity. Nah, honestly.
You have not pulled it back.
No, I'm pulling it back. No, I think it's a great opportunity. I think it'll be naive. Right, I know what he said in regards to being a technophile, but I think there's a bit of, I know you didn't mean it like that, but there's a bit of naivety in regards to like being strong-minded and not wanting to actually know a little bit more about it, which is why I mentioned my friend and AI. Now I remember why I said that. He wants to get ahead of the curve and actually understand the industry before it actually takes off. And they're my thoughts on it, in that right now we're in a very early stage in regards to cryptocurrency. Yes, it's been around for a good, say 10 years or so, but like in about say 10, 15 years time, the landscape's going to look completely different. When I first started Uber driving, which was in, again, 2017, I knew people who were been crypto millionaires saying they had crypto from way back when. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously crypto, maybe not now, but certainly more so back then, was part of the dark web. My brother, when he was, well, how's my brother now? Good 10, 15, well, I can't forgot how he is actually, but I mean, good 10, 15 years ago, they were using it to do nonsense. Do you know what I mean? And that was when it was worth next to nothing. Obviously, we've heard stories of people buying, pizzas. Like, we're talking about way back then. Do you know what I mean? My brother and obviously his friends were using crypto to do whatever, let's say, for example. And look at its value now. I don't even know the value of Bitcoin at this moment in time. But I guess what I'm saying is, if we educate ourselves, which I think is really important, I think there's no reason why we can't, again, be crypto millionaires ourselves, or even AI millionaires.
So would you say we're still in the gold rush era of crypto?
I do. I think we're still early. When I've had that, so I had a conversation with someone maybe, I don't know, it was a good 2-3 months ago. He was saying we're early, man. Still early. Like, we need to kind of think. We've probably had one, maybe two big rushes. So the first one was like 2017-ish, bam, and then it had a massive drop, and then there might have been another one. Do you know what I mean? And obviously since then there's been a massive drop. So I still think we're early. Do you know what I mean? In my humble opinion. And even then, we're still getting quite a lot of new innovation in regards to crypto as well. So like AI is here now. Do you know what I mean? And all of a sudden you're getting loads of different AI coins and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
That's I guess that's one of my issues with crypto, is the fact that anyone and everyone can just create a coin, and it has some kind of value, or some kind of what do they call it, meme coins. Like Trump had one at some point, and it was good. Then it went up, then it went down. All of a sudden, imagine you invested in that thinking it's gonna be something, then all of a sudden you turn around and it's worth piss, basically.
Well, that goes back to what like Gary Stevenson said, and I totally understand his point, because I think it's probably down to who and what places the value. Do you know what I mean? And to that, I still don't understand the value in Bitcoin, which is probably the reason why he is saying they'll probably go down to zero. But I think
But that's the gold standard as of today.
That's the gold standard.
Crypto.
So that's,
he's saying Bitcoin's the gold standard.
oh yeah.
I guess. So I think I was going to touch on this obviously in chapter 3 in some respects. I guess, or what I think I want to say is that, like, I feel that not that we're thinking like our parents as such, but let's use them as an example. Our parents only felt that we can be lawyers, doctors, etc., etc. Fast forward, where there's so much more we can do. We're now, or the conversation, I'm not saying we're limiting our conversation, but we're limiting our thoughts in regards to actually what are the next opportunities ahead. And I just think there's so many different opportunities. Some of them we don't even understand now. Do you know what I mean? And I guess what I'm trying to say is that actually I do believe there are, in some regards, infinite possibilities. Like, I don't know if you see is it the money game? I think the money game, the numbers game. I think it was on IG. Like, maybe because I interact with it, obviously it pops up on my feed quite often. If you look at some of the stories, yes, you might get a lot of traditional stories as to, I don't know, someone's a jeweler or someone's, I don't know, set up a clothing brand, etc., etc. But I think the most recent one that I saw was a woman who set up a payment app in regards to Africa, all right, as to those in, I might have got this wrong anyway, but those who use local currencies so they can actually pay for things. They don't have to change their currency in order to pay for something in what might be in China or in the US. They can use their local currency. You know what I mean? I don't know how.
I've got one of those. Is that the same as one of those cards when you go? Cause remember, I just
I know,
whatever, and I put on X amount of British pounds.
Yeah.
And I went over there and I could just tap wherever I was going, and it converted it straight away.
Well, like a Monzo or something.
Yeah,
something like that.
So what I don't want to do, I don't want to play down her app because I don't understand it well enough. But what I'm saying is that, like, I guess what I'm saying is like there's so many new, different, and infinite types of opportunities available, and that's in regards to technology. But we're talking about currency. Do you know what I mean? And what value a currency can play, or a new currency can play. Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to personal liabilities. The process of growing the money introduces melody. The things we're driven by don't always lead us to success. It's not what you do, but how you do it that make you successful. That's on page 154. What drives you, and do you think it is helping you towards success?
I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if it's the case for everybody, but I just feel I know where I'm going. Do you know what I mean? Or I know what I want. And I think when you know, I don't know, where you're going as such, I think it's quite easy to, actually, I don't want to say easier to kind of like create a roadmap or kind of like understand the path that you're going down. And with that, I would say in regards to drive, because I guess that's not drive. I don't know. Ooh, it's a lot. Let me just say what's I guess on my mind. I heard someone say this the other day in regards to imposter syndrome, like someone quite well known and established. I think you can have imposter syndrome in regards to like who you are and what you want to do as such. But like I don't know, I think in the deep depths of my stomach, all right, I genuinely believe I'm good enough to achieve what I want to achieve. Do you know what I mean? And I guess there might be stumbling blocks or there might be I don't know, life, you know what I mean? Right now, I feel I'm in this like low kind of like period in my life, do you know what I mean? And for me, it's about just staying in the game, do you know what I mean? Making sure I do the very, very small things just to kind of get me from one day to another to ensure I can put one foot in front of another, do you know what I mean? So for as long as I think you are disciplined and structured, pretty much very similar to yourself. I think when you were talking about going to the gym today, it like crossed my mind in regards to some of the rituals that you still uphold, despite the fact that, you know, today might not have been a good day, which was kind of what you were saying. Not in a, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For as long as you're upholding those things, I guess you're able to continually go forward. And when you are in a rich vein of form, you're able to plow ahead. And in fact, the reason why I was thinking those things is because again, we're in a new quarter, but like I got some good news. I think it was at the back end of last week. And then and then I don't know if I said this, but like I passed another account for trading, all that type of stuff, due a payout, all that type of stuff. And I was like, all of a sudden I was having a laugh with Oscar. I was like, life looks different now. Do you know what I mean? Life looks completely different. I might have had this conversation with yourself. All of a sudden, I thought I don't need a, do you know what I mean? I don't need all that type of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And yes, there might be some humor in that, but like, I guess if you're constantly putting one foot in front of another, like a door open at some given point, and all of a sudden things and your perspective like will change, irrespective of where you are now.
Cool. Nice.
For me, it's just maintaining to make sure that I can sustain for obviously kids and partner. Yeah, and just be comfortable or try and have a level of comfortability. Like there could be a lot more, or I could have a lot more comfortability, but for now, roof, can book a holiday, can pay the bills, sort both the kids out, missus. So, you know what I mean? Be humble, be grateful for what you do have, and obviously try and strive for more, which is at the moment for me is obviously professional life, try and get a bit more or try and strive for a bit more when the time comes. And then, yeah, man, just take whatever that next step is, take a next step, whatever that is. And obviously, as I said, even little things, little hustles on the side, whether that's trying to find new investments and stuff like that, nothing to flip and kill myself over, but just little other avenues of income, as Franklin talks about in his book. Trying to have multiple incomes, man.
Yeah, I think for me, what drives me is the want to do better, like always wanting to improve, always wanting to learn, always willing to learn. And like you said, P, staying disciplined, staying on your dean, so to speak, and just doing the things that maintain you at a certain level. So like there's days that I don't want to maintain my morning routine. Like it's But for me, it's like brushing my teeth. I could do it every day, so it's not really a thing I have to think about. But there are days I don't want to do it. I can't be asked to do it. But out of habit and just self-discipline, I just get it done. So having those structures in place, I think what drives me towards success is knowing that I can get to where I want to get to if I keep pushing away, taking one step at a time, like you said, B. And yeah, just looking ahead really, but taking each day as it comes.